guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to today's video. Today I am going to be filling you guys in on my body after babies, my postpartum, my postpartum, I guess, fitness journey, where things are at right now, what this whole last like 3 years has looked like for me fitness wise, where I'm at today, where I want to be, basically all of the fitness related things that I don't want to say been avoiding for the last 3 years. I feel like I have had a love-hate relationship when it has come to fitness, and like even just the words fitness journey have conjured up some feelings in me while I have just been in and out of this season of pregnancy and having babies and nursing and back and forth and all of that for so long. I've just been on very shaky ground in what I would call my fitness journey over the past 3 years, but I'm ready to prioritize my health again. I really do think that having a healthy relationship with fitness and physical activity is so important for moms. It was a part of my life before I had kids. I want it to be a part of my life now because I also want to model it to my kids so that it can be a part of their lives as well. So if you want to hear all about what this has looked like for me in the last 3 years, just keep on watching because we're going to dive into all of that today. Also, if you are sick of seeing me wear this baby carrier in all of my videos, no you are not, because I cannot take it off. We're a package deal. She comes with me wherever I go, and that has very much been a part of my postpartum journey this time around. But I wanted to give you guys basically the Cole's notes of my fitness journey up until the point that I had kids, and then kind of update you guys on where I am at now, like postpartum with baby number 3. For those of you who are new to my YouTube channel, hello, my name is Beth. I am a mom of 3 kids. I had 3 kids in less than 3 years, and so it has just been a whirlwind of body changes for me over the last 3 years. And before I got pregnant with my first baby, I was very much in a rhythm of exercise being a part of my normal everyday life. So I was in the gym, I was really strength training and lifting weights, but also running a lot. And running is something that I have always loved. I have not done it in so long now just because I feel like I've never been at a point postpartum long enough to actually reincorporate that into my routine. But all of this to say, over the course of my first pregnancy, because we were in a pandemic and because we were in lockdown, I wasn't really making it out to the gym very often anymore. Once we could kind of go back in a little bit and there were like designated hours for when you could go and wear your mask and all these things, I tried to go a little bit, but I remember also just being kind of apprehensive because of the fact that I was pregnant, we were in a pandemic, and I didn't really want to mess with any of that. So I would say that was kind of like my first foot like out of the door of the workout world unintentionally in my first pregnancy. I did my best to stay active, but didn't really stay on top of it. 9 months later, the 3rd pregnancy rolls around, and you guys, I have now layered 2 years and 2 pregnancy and postpartum periods of not really making fitness a priority for my everyday, on top of a 3rd pregnancy where you are just at your max of tiredness levels. I now have 2 little kids that I'm running after, and so needless to say, I did not really prioritize exercise in my 3rd pregnancy either in the way that I should have. I did my very best to try and keep some sort of movement into my regular routines, mostly just like going on long walks with the kids and running after them in the house, but when it comes to like strength training and things like that, those workouts were pretty spotty throughout my weeks, and it was honestly such a win to just even make it through one of them without a child like climbing on top of me mid-workout. Fast forward to where we are today. I am now 4 months postpartum with baby number 3, and I am just like more ready than ever to get back into the habit of making fitness a priority in my life. And at some point in this video, I would love to chat a little bit more about where things are at now, how I'm feeling, what things are looking like. At the 6-week postpartum mark this time around, I just remember feeling 3 things very clearly. One of them being that I had lost so much strength and that I just really wanted to start gaining that back again, but honestly just had no idea how, because I felt like I was more time constrained than ever, had more children than ever, and had just lost so much muscle that I didn't even know where to begin in building that back. But I also wanted to prioritize my own body again. It had just gone through so much in growing and delivering 3 beautiful babies, and I owe that to myself to actually invest in my own personal health and fitness. And the last thing that I just remember feeling was like, I want my kids to see me exercising. I don't want this to be something that just kind of like completely falls out of my life at this point. I need to put a stake in the ground to make a decision that I'm gonna try and get back on track with this. But again, I honestly just had no idea how I was gonna do that. That was all before I found Trainwell. Trainwell is the ultimate personalized workout experience. It's all about making strength training accessible for anyone, anywhere, at any fitness level, in any workout environment, whether you are at home or at the gym. And they're not about quick fixes or workout fads or programs that you're gonna fall off on. They are all about making exercise a part of your every single day and routines. I mentioned to you guys before that I had originally heard about Trainwell through a friend of mine here on YouTube, Michelle Reed. I knew that she had used their programs, and I thought it looked really, really cool because essentially you get matched with a personal trainer who will completely customize a workout plan for you and your current stage of life. So it's based on your current fitness level, the environment that you're gonna be working out in, whether you're gonna do that at home or at the gym, and also the equipment that you have available to you. So for me, I am working with 5-pound weights and 10-pound weights because that's what I've got, but that's also where I feel comfortable with at this stage in my postpartum journey. And so all of my workout routines are customized for me to do at home when I have time in my day. Hands down, the best thing about the Trainwell platform is the fact that you get paired with a personal trainer that you have a one-on-one relationship with. So gone are the days for me of having zero accountability, because my trainer, Heidi, she is the sweetest person on earth. And I feel like we've actually become friends over the last month that I have been working out with Trainwell, because we're back and forth literally almost every single day. And she's checking in on me and my life and on the kids. And having someone in my corner has made a huge difference in the level of motivation that I actually feel to get these workouts done.
My goal is to help you create a sustainable habit, more of like a lifestyle, and especially in this phase of life. I don't think it's realistic to put that pressure on you as a mom to, try and get these crazy long, gym workouts in. And your body doesn't really need that right now either. Our body goes through a lot having a baby. In my opinion, I think it takes a good year postpartum for us to really get ourselves back, both mentally, hormonally, physically. So I think home workouts and just using your body weight sounds perfect.
I remember there was a day a couple of weeks back where I was just going through it with the kids and having the hardest time at getting our baby to sleep, and it was like 11 p.m. and I hadn't gotten my workout done yet. And I remember just messaging back and forth with Heidi, and she just gave me this boost of encouragement and reminded me of how hard I'm working in this season, and that the fact that I'm prioritizing working out at all is just such a great example for our kids. And literally the message almost made me cry, because I just feel like I've got this great relationship with someone that is actually spurring me forward to prioritize my health again, and it is the most refreshing thing. That's probably even my bigger why coming out of a season of just like carrying and sustaining life for so long. It's like, okay, I owe it to myself, I think, into my body now to like build it back stronger.
I love that. Yes, absolutely. And I always say, in order for us to be the best moms and the best wives that we can be, we have to prioritize ourselves. And I have noticed such a huge difference in, especially with my kids, like my temper and like my fuse is much longer on the days that I can get a workout in and give myself that you time. So I really encourage you, life will get busy. It will always get busy. But it is so important for you to prioritize yourself in that way in order to prioritize your kids, in order to be a better mom and wife. So don't ever feel guilty about it, and just remind yourself that what you're doing for yourself will benefit them.
When I first got connected with Heidi, we went over my personal fitness goals and kind of what I wanted to see for myself, but also the different areas I wanted to work on, what I felt like I was stronger in and weaker in. And she fully customized a routine for me that met all of those different criteria. But she did also take into consideration some of the just elements of my lifestyle right now that make traditional workouts a little bit harder for me. One of them being the fact that I am wearing a baby carrier almost 24/7. That baby carrier is living on me rent free right now, and Heidi customized all of my workouts so that I could actually do them while baby wearing if necessary, to help me just remove that excuse entirely from whether or not I can actually make a workout happen.
If for whatever reason, like I can't get her to sleep, I might need to try and figure something out with her in the carrier.
Yeah, absolutely.
And could maybe swap that for weight some days. Obviously that's not going to work if it's like an ab day, and then I might just need to push that if she's super, super fussy. So again, I don't think it's going to be a concern yet, but it's just something I'm aware of, is like, what do I do if she's losing her mind? And this is the only thing to calm her down.
That is a great point. So I will try and make most of your workouts, especially the dumbbell workouts, doable with baby. You're not the only client I've had to do that for. So again, I want to make these workouts work for you. And yeah, if you need to just wear baby to do those squats, perfect. We'll just put body weight and you can just wear baby, and that will be your added intensity.
The other thing that she's done for me that has been huge is customize all of my workouts to be safe for ab separation. My core has quite a bit of work that needs to be done. So Heidi customized all of my workouts to make them diastasis safe so that I'm not actually further separating my abs while I work out. And not only are they safe for that, they're actually designed to help bring my core back together so that I can move forward from that place to actually look to do more challenging workouts for my core in the future as well.
Have you been checked for like diastasis recti to see if your abs have split? Or they always split when we get pregnant, they always split, but to check to see if they've come back together?
They are not back together. I can definitely confirm that. The only workouts that I've really done since being postpartum this time around have been a lot of workouts to help bring the core back together. So I have started that breathing and all of that, but I haven't really progressed beyond some entry-level workouts for that.
And that's okay, because that is the most important part. I think that was the most challenging. I also had it as well. Again, everyone has it. It's super frustrating that that isn't acknowledged as part of postpartum care, making sure that we are doing things that are safe. And I didn't know. And so I was doing everything wrong, and I only made it worse. And so trying to focus on that breathing was so hard to retrain myself. So I think that's great. I think you started with all the right things. So I will put kind of notes on the movements as well, telling you when to inhale, when to exhale. And I always say, as you exhale, just if you can focus on, again, zipping that belly button up. If it becomes too much though, just focus on when to properly, when to exhale, when to inhale. And that can really kind of help keep those abs, tight and supporting with that pelvic floor.
The Trainwell app is so easy to use. You can pop in and see what workouts your trainer has scheduled for you that day, chit chat back and forth with your trainer about whether the workout felt good for you or whether it was a little bit too challenging. You get full video previews of what the movements should look like to help you along throughout your workouts. And for any modifications that have been made, Heidi has actually sent me a personal video of her doing the movement, so I know what to look for and kind of what to model the move after. And it honestly feels like such a fun game when you get a streak in the Trainwell app and you have been consistent with your workouts. I think it is so special that I get to work with Trainwell on this video because they have just been such a huge part of my postpartum recovery and getting back on track after having 3 babies. And they have also come up with an insane offer for viewers of my channel, which is so generous of them. The first 100 people that go to the link in my description box, which I will also put up here on the screen, are going to get 14 days free in the Trainwell app, as well as $25 off their first month. I know for a fact that those 100 spots are gonna go super, super fast. So if you want to claim one of those 100 spots, the link for that is go.trainwell.net/BethGraceMoore. And when you go to that link and sign up, you will get 14 days for free, which is nuts. Literally 14 free days with a personal trainer, and then $25 off of your first month after that. I am so excited excited for the 100 of you that are going to get the opportunity to test it out. I think that you guys are going to love it so much, and thank you so much to Trainwell for working with me on today's video. I ended up getting so sick last week and was basically just down for the entire week. And long story short, but because I'm also like kind of weaning off of feedings right now because of my baby's reflux and food allergy and tongue tie stuff, I think that my body is starting to go through the like hormonal come down from like breastfeeding weaning. And you guys, I have never done this before because I've always been pregnant by the time that I have like stopped breastfeeding my babies. So this is my first time being like not pregnant and then also beginning to wean, and it is intense. I had kind of heard people talk about that before, but was just not sure what to expect. And I'm pretty sure the symptoms that I've been experiencing have been related to that. It's been like some spotting, but I also had like a 48-hour migraine last week after already being sick, and it just like honestly took me out for the entire week. So I'm jumping back in, but needless to say, I have been kind of off my workout game, and I've been messaging Heidi just about like how to get back on track and what this week is going to look like. So now that it's a Monday and I'm feeling better, we're going to jump back in. I'm also going to meet up with a friend and her kids this afternoon to go for a little walk. I've just found that that has been one of my favorite ways kind of since I've become a mom to get movement in. Your kids can just kind of like keep each other occupied on the walk, and then you have a chance to actually catch up and chat, and it's a little bit less crazy. So I'm looking forward to that, but I thought that I would pop back in and just do kind of like a postpartum round 3 update in terms of like where my body is at with everything. And then over the past couple days, I've also been thinking more about some of the things that I just like didn't expect about my body after having babies, and I wanted to share some of those with you guys too. I don't have my vlog camera back, so I have to hold up my like massive camera anytime I'm trying to film these days, but this is what I look like after having 3 kids in 3 years. I'm not the type of girl that's gonna like get in a bikini on the internet and do all of that stuff. So you're gonna have to work with what you can see here, but I wanna focus this more on like how my body feels and what it is currently capable of doing as opposed to like what it is looking like, because what our bodies are capable of as women is far more interesting than what they look like, at least in my opinion, especially after going through the process of having 3 kids. It's a crazy thing that our bodies are able to do. But when it comes to where things have like landed for me physically, the biggest thing that I notice again is just like that loss of muscle tone impacting like day-to-day life. And that is what I really want to prioritize when it comes to like my fitness journey now, is gaining a lot of that strength back. Because your core is so central to the entirety of your body, I feel like it really honestly does contribute to a lot of the general aches and pains that I would feel at the end of the day, like the lower back pain that I get sometimes. I often get pain like in my knees, and a lot of the time that is coming from weak glutes, but also weak core, and my glutes trying to compensate from my core. And that is one of the biggest things that I hear people talk about, is the fact that like feels like the booty's just disappearing when you have kids. And a lot of the time it is because your glutes are trying so hard to compensate for your core being so just out of whack, and it just kind of throws everything else off kilter. So strength training with Trainwell is the big thing that I'm doing to kind of rehabilitate the core, get the glutes firing back again, because I will say I have lost a lot of muscle there too. And obviously, like all moms, like it looks like you can have a flat stomach with high-waisted pants, but don't be deceived. I still definitely do have like the little mom belly that I am trying to tighten back up. And if that doesn't entirely go back to normal, like honestly, it's not the end of the world. Like I have 3 children in there. I have stretch marks. I have some loose skin there. I still, even at 4 months postpartum, haven't fully lost the line that like runs down your belly. I still have kind of like a faint just remnant of that there too. But to be honest with you guys, I am in a place now in my life where I honestly love and accept my body more than I ever have in the past, even after having 3 babies. I'm just like so in awe of what it has been able to do, especially so close together, and like the amount of weight that was gained and lost and gained and lost, and the healing that it has had to do. It has just served me so well, and I'm just so grateful for the way that God has designed us to be able to do this. It is truly such a miracle. Now let's go over some of the things that I did not expect about my body after babies. And And I want to start this with just the preface that this is my personal experience. Everyone's body reacts to pregnancy and postpartum and breastfeeding and all that completely differently. So it's really impossible for one person to say like, this is what's going to happen to you, because even just from my own friend group, I know that everyone's body has done very different things and we're all kind of navigating this differently. So please don't take my experience and map it onto your experience or use it as like a comparison mark, because so much goes into this: lifestyle, genetics, literally so many different elements. And so again, please don't compare. But the first thing that I was surprised by and didn't expect is how little, I guess, my body would change after subsequent pregnancies. After my first pregnancy, I noticed the most significant change. Obviously, it was my first time having a baby. And I did share a video about this, like kind of processing it and what that experience was like after having my first baby. But the most change happened then. That was also the pregnancy that I gained the most weight in. So I feel like in terms of like my skin stretching and getting those initial stretch marks from pregnancy, and my boobs changing because I'm now growing a baby and feeding the baby and all of those things, like that initial first chunk of change was right at the beginning. And to be honest with you guys, I was kind of nervous that in each pregnancy I was going to go through that dramatic of a change every time. And I was like, I don't even know like where my body is going to be after I've had like all of the babies that we want to have. But I have honestly been surprised by how little change there has been from like baby number 1 to number 2 and number 2 to number 3, just because that initial change has already happened. For the most part, like the skin was already kind of stretched out. The skin already had stretch marks. Standing in front of a mirror now, I look pretty similar to what I stood in front of the mirror looking like after baby number 1. The next thing that I didn't expect was, again, how much muscle tone I would lose throughout my pregnancies. I know that this is not a guarantee, and that if you're able to kind of start your pregnancy in a place where you've got some healthy muscle tone and continue to work out throughout your pregnancies, that you can hold on to a lot of that and be in a really great place afterwards. And I always had that like desire and intention going into it of like, I want to be really strong physically and work out throughout. But I feel like it's very easy to say that and a lot harder to actually do, because a lot of the time you're just so tired when you're pregnant. And I had just found that the more kids that I added to it, the more tired I was. And so really consistently focusing on like strength training and building muscle in pregnancy was not at the top of my priority list. The other interesting thing about this is that sometimes people don't even notice a loss in muscle tone in pregnancy. It's actually in breastfeeding that they notice that they're starting to lose their muscle. And that is actually like a proven scientific thing, that you do lose muscle tone throughout the breastfeeding process. So if you are losing it in pregnancy and you're losing it in breastfeeding, you kind of end up where I am today, of feeling like you gotta just tighten things back up again. Next thing that I didn't expect is that there are some things about your body post having a baby that just might not ever go back to normal or what they looked like before the baby. And that is also normal. Sure, you can exercise, you can eat healthy, you can take supplements, you can do all of these things to try and tighten and tone. But honestly, if you've got loose skin from having babies, that doesn't just go away with exercise and a healthy diet. You can kind of reduce the appearance of it with those things. Most of the time, that loose skin actually stays there. And I think of all of the like postpartum body image related things, that is the one that I have struggled with the most, just because when you're scrolling online on social media, oftentimes you'll see these like portrayals of moms that have really tightly toned bellies and then 4 kids running around them, and it just like does not compute. And I think the hard thing with that is like, maybe sometimes there are the rare exceptions where genetically like a mom's belly has 0 loose skin after having 3 or 4 kids and it just goes right back to what it looked like. But I think more of the time there are actually a lot of people, and it is way more common than you would think, that are having cosmetic procedures done to try and reverse the appearance of carrying babies and to get it back to more of like a pre-baby look. I really did used to think that it was just celebrities that would go through procedures like tummy tucks and things like that. But I've since come to realize, especially being in this world of influencing now, that like a lot of people are getting these procedures done, and you just need to have that awareness when you are scrolling on social media, is that it's not like a direct one-to-one comparison of like this person that somehow cracked the code and has figured it out. A lot of the time you are looking at something that is not necessarily achievable without a type of cosmetic procedure, and it's nothing against those. I'm not saying that that is like inherently wrong. I just think it's a good thing to have an awareness of when you're scrolling so that you don't put yourself in that place of like, what is wrong with me? The next thing that I didn't expect is how hard it would actually become to prioritize my own health and fitness since having kids. That one may sound silly, but to be honest with you, I remember before having kids hearing moms talk about how impossible it is to make the time to exercise. And in my naivety and my prideful arrogance in that stage of life when I did not have kids, I remember thinking like, how hard can it actually be? Like, we all have the same amount of hours in a day. Surely there is enough time that you can fit in like a 10-minute workout, a 15-minute workout. Fast forward to now being a mom, and I found the same struggle when I had 1 baby, 2 baby, 3 babies. It is tricky to find the time to exercise in a day, especially because so much of our day is managing the needs of other people. And I think that there's something really selfless and sacrificial in that and beautiful in that, but it is also really important to make that time to prioritize you, especially because you are better able to be there for the people in your life and in your family when you are in a good place physically as well. And we cannot downplay the impact that our physical health has on our mental and emotional health too. So I know that this is something that is important to prioritize, but to be honest, I didn't realize how hard it would be to do that. And so it's an everyday choice of saying, okay, I want to make this a habit that I am going to show up for myself in, but also model to my kids what it looks like to take care of their bodies. The next thing that I didn't expect is how hard of a time I would find getting back in the saddle of working out, and how much I would really need someone to hold my hand through that process. I think because like left to my own devices, I'm at a point in my life right now where I'm not like obsessed with the idea of working out. And I know some people are loving it and have gotten to this place where it's like a non-negotiable for them. But for me, it was pretty negotiable for a long time, especially with just how many things needed to happen in a day. And so I had just found that I really have needed the support of my trainer through Train Well to actually be encouraging me and motivating me. And if nothing else gets me to my workout at the end of the day, seeing that text from her of just like, just checking in, like, you got this, is really what will make me want to get it done, because I do know that I have someone in my corner and cheering me on. And the final thing that I did not expect about my body after babies is something that I've kind of mentioned a little bit already, but it's that I didn't expect that I would love my body so much more now than I did even before. I think it's so interesting, and this is something that I realized after having my first, but you spend so much of your life, especially when you're young and you're going through puberty and figuring out who you are, honestly just full of insecurity and feeling like, oh, if I could just look like this, then I would be happy with my body. Or if I could just lose a couple pounds, if I could just gain a little bit more muscle, if I could just XYZ, then I would be happy with my body. But I don't know if you guys have noticed this. I have always found that that is like a moving target that I can never actually catch up to. And so I remember just like, even at the stage of my life, being the most physically fit that I would have been in like my late teens and early 20s and being toned and trim, and that still wasn't enough for me to wake up without insecurity every day. And I just had such a little appreciation for the body that God had given me. But now fast forward, being a mom, having these 3 amazing children, I have a crazy newfound love for my body and appreciation for my body. And when I look in the mirror, sure, there are days and times that I struggle with insecurity. I am just at a place in my life now where I am tired of putting off self-love until I reach a goal that's never gonna come. I just feel so confident now in who God has made me to be, in the body that He has given me, and I just want to steward that well and to take care of it well and to treat it like a temple, because that's how He tells us to treat it. And so I hope that that can be encouraging to you, that you don't have to worry so much about what this transformation is going to look like for you. At the end of the day, day that matters so little in comparison to the legacy for generations that you can leave behind through the gift of having babies. And for someone that really did struggle with that thought and that insecurity of like, oh, I just don't want my body to change, being on the other side of it now, it just seems like such a silly thought in comparison to the love and the joy and the fullness of life that I'm now able to experience because I have kids. It really is just a beautiful, sanctifying process. So those are all of the things that I did not expect about my body after babies. I'm curious if you guys had any of those realizations yourself and what that process has looked like for you. So feel free to share those in the comment section below. I would love for the comment section of this video to be a place where we can kind of encourage each other in this, because I know that it really goes back and forth, and some days you just wake up and feel hard on yourself. So let's cheer each other on in this. Let this be a reminder today that your body is beautiful, whatever stage of the postpartum and motherhood journey you find yourself in. And for anyone that is also feeling like they could really benefit from someone holding their hand through the fitness journey and helping them to get back in the saddle of it all, I wanted to remind you that I do have those 100 spots with Trainwell, and they are limited. So if you have not gone down to the description box yet, why not just try on 2 free weeks of personal training? See if you like it, see if it is a good fit for you and your season of life. And after that, you will also get $25 off of the first month as well. So the link for that is in the description box and up on the screen here. Thank you so much to Trainwell for working with me on this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And until my next video, I love you guys, I'm praying for you guys, and I will see you soon.